Be eager to hear your ideas. We're going to ask each one of the table proposers to identify who's going to report out the headline to the mayor of the council. So every time I see a lanyard, we'll ask who's going to be reporting. Who will be speaking for you? 3 minutes.
All right, my name is Maria, and I was in the group with Tyler, Joyce, Joel, Don, and Jonathan. So for past use, people use this space for childcare. People also use it for sports. We just had a basketball sport by practicing here, so that allowed her to pursue her dream for college. And then people use this space for community gatherings. Also, access to local nonprofits. So there have been like Winter Fest and other s'mores lounge, so people can learn about local nonprofits and access to help. And so those are always really great. Then there's also food access, that's a big one. So the food distribution, the lunches with Silver Key, Thanksgiving meal that happened for people who needed a Thanksgiving meal. So they love to be together as a community. And then places for your kids. So again, with the basketball scholarship, and there used to be a Boys and Girls Club here too. So kids had a lot of opportunities. Summer camps, there were a lot of ways for children to be involved at all ages. And then we also talked about the seniors, and part of that is the senior meals, but also just a place for the seniors to come and not be isolated. And so that's a big thing too. So for senior mental health and also access to different medical opportunities like this, like vaccine clinics, so that people can stay healthy. And then for the future of the space, one thing I wanted to mention, there's a lot of transportation barriers in this community. We do have a bus, but we also have a lot of people with disabilities, so just telling somebody to go somewhere else outside this community isn't always possible or easy. It takes a lot of effort, so we did want to mention that. And somebody mentioned that there used to be vans that would take people from center to center or to other places, so transportation is a big thing that can go to the future community center. And also accessible transportation, so people have wheelchairs, walkers, canes, any kind of mobility disability. And then also for the future, we were talking about making sure lunches continue, food access continues. We think it would be great to have some kind of coffee shop, but paired with that, opportunities for people to also build their career skills or school skills. So maybe being able to use the kids around here to learn how to do CertSafe certifications, or learn how to do cashiering, or learn something, learn digital access, so people can learn how to use their phones, tablets, how to be safe, so you don't fall for scams, what you look for, so making sure the community stays safe through digital literacy. And that we have a ton of stuff under adult learning that and fall through that. So financial literacy, making sure people know how to do budgeting, make sure people know that what is available out in the community, making sure that our neighbors know what they can access. Also volunteers, we know that volunteering is really important in community building, so we wanted to make sure they had that, bringing plays and theater to this community, fundraising that way, and togetherness events for people who may have had a baby or got discharged from the hospital, making sure that people are taken care of or healing or taking care of them.
Thank you very much.
There's a high value, especially for children, that they were here for after-school programs, they were here for preschool programs, here for karate classes and all other kinds of sports teams that partnered and did things that were in part. One of the big things was we were shocked at the closure and with the little to no announcement for it. And hearing from, hearsay and second, from a friend, A couple of the big things we'd like to see is the vetting process of how potential tenants and renters will use the space. Are they going to, when it's as part of the rent, is it going to be low income cost, as well as are they going to also pay a small upkeep to help keep the facilities well maintained? The other one was the maintenance of the park across the street, since it is partnered with the community center a lot. How is that going to be maintained? Because as of right now, the waterway that goes through it is real gross, real terrible. And there are a lot of children in the neighborhood that go and play there and use the park often. And then how can the community center gain revenue to help keep this place open and keep low to no cost tenants and activities and things going on. Karen was a staff member here, and she also cared for the residents, so having staff that cares about this community center and cares about our neighborhood is a big concern, as well as for the veterans and the elderly veteran in this neighborhood. How can we bring things into the community center that benefit them, as well as get them the resources that they need to live in this neighborhood. And just the big factor that this neighborhood and this community has been here probably longer than some of the newer places here in the city, and how we want to keep this place alive, because this is our home, this is our community, this is our homes, our houses, our children, our elderly, and everyone that lives here. This is our place. We get it.
Hello, again, I'm Jordan Ross. I just stay right down the street. I've been in this neighborhood since 2017 is when I bought. It's when I bought my house in this neighborhood, but I've been here as a kid. So a lot of our concerns that we had, they echo the same concerns as the previous groups. This center provides a lot for our community. It connected a lot of the neighbors out here. The senior services for one, and a lot of the kids that we see, I see daily. When I'm driving down the street through here a couple times a day, I see kids that are out on the street, new things being vandalized. So, a lot of our solutions work the same. We don't want this to turn into a storage facility. We don't want this to turn into something that's not going to be community focused. We need this, whatever the space will be, community focused. We need to bring in some nonprofits and different types of ideas from the communities where we can gather revenue in here that still gives back to the same community. It just doesn't make any sense to lose it. I mean, for what it does provide, and it's not really a tangible thing that you can, say, quantify what this offers. It's a peace of mind for all of us. It's a staple in the community. And it's pretty disgusting seeing the signs put up that it's closed, it's sad. So, we want to allow some nonprofits in here. We just don't want to be left high and dry. We saw even when it was closed down, we saw a couple, homeless people, trying to gather around here. And we don't want this to turn into that neighborhood. They have been flooding in here and walking through. I mean, I don't want to see the Meadows turn into that. And that's what the potential is to happen. So if we don't have something that's community focused, I just don't want to lose that. And I second, a lot of others up here said this is real, though.
Hello, good evening. Thank you all so much for being here. In our table and group, we had a passionate bunch, and we were lucky and honored to have three people who used to work here and called their career here through the city. One person, Christine Anderson, working here for 9.5 years. Is that correct, Kirsten? Kirsten, yeah. Her losing her job. So we had some incredible feedback, as well as Charity Warren, a parent and community resident here, who also shared her putting her kids through many of the programs there, through multiple ages of kids. So I just want to have you all know, including city and executive staff, to know their names. Charity Warren, she works with geriatric folks. She's able to do her work through the child care services that Meadows Park provided and be able to serve our senior residents. Candace Martinez, Kelly Kennedy, and Kirstine Anderson worked here providing services with the child care, adult care, and mental care. Helping prevent, we have several community members they talked about that used to come here for mental health services, just to feel like they're a part of the community. So I want to make sure you know their names, because we're talking about here not about revenue, we're talking about people's lives. And they have names, and they have careers, and they have families and kids. So, top 3 needs and services that need to be filled in the last minute and 18 seconds. Child, adult, and mental care. Children's services all the way from preschool all the way to teenagers. There's a great teen program that was here. That was no longer. Adult care and facilities for our senior citizens, as well as other adult groups used to come here and recreate and share and break bread and have community. Mental health care for many of the programs that were offered here. Marketing. We need to get more awareness of this center. And that also falls on the responsibility of the city. I had this shared with me by a very wise person, and I want to make sure that you and city folk and all of us know, public safety are community centers. Public safety is community centers. Community centers is and are public safety. And revenue is generated by making sure families have affordable child care so they can go to their jobs, go to school, become more productive members of our city. How much revenue is generated by making sure people have food on the table so they can spend their money going to utilities and other housing services to make sure that they can still afford to live in this city. Let's talk about revenue growing and not revenue chasing. Thank you. Thank you so much for your service and making the parent documentary.
Okay, we've got some solutions. If the city could cover one salary in this place, if we could implement Karen back in because she knows the community, she knows everybody really well, the needs could be funneled to Karen, and then you have a gatekeeper, whoever that is. I don't know if it's Redemption Squad or whoever, but they bring in other organizations to do youth activities, mental health, counseling. We just partner. All you can bring, you have one person in charge, not 15,000 different opinions and 15,000 different people trying to bring a whole bunch of stuff together, but everything just moves in unison. So reinstate Karen. Then have a gatekeeper that's not getting a salary, but just wants the best for the community, that has connections to other nonprofits or organizations that can come and help. Then you can turn this into a family equipping center where children are learning how to use computers and job site things or advancement in what they're going to do when they get older. You can do things for the older generation, stuff for people with mental illnesses, dementia, all of that stuff. You can have one person that has these connections to bring all these organizations in to use this facility in a positive way. They can change the community. Then that organization also sets up volunteers that can go out and flyer the community and let everybody know the events and the things that are going on. So that weight is not put on the city. You guys don't have to worry about that, but an organization puts together the volunteers to go flood the neighborhoods with flyers, stays in constant contact, has sports activities, dances for the kids. There's all kinds of things, but you just need one head. You would state Karen back in here. She's got the connections, and then one head that all the needs of the community is being funneled to, that you can pull in an organization that has the community's heart and mind to bless everybody and help out.
Okay, first of all, let's just say how this community center is helping me get over my social anxiety and public speaking. But that's how important this is to me. I basically agree with everything Zach said. That's pretty much what I was saying. We do need to reinstate Karen and make her the one that gets the salary, the hourly, whatever you do, and then have someone, a fiscal entity of some kind, come in and oversee things. Make sure that the money's getting distributed properly, as Zach said, not 15 other people trying to figure this out. I had the privilege to have Paul Levy, a place like home, with me. Do you mind just standing up again so everyone can see you? This woman right here, she has a nonprofit, Woodland Park, that has helped with the disabled, helped with traumatic brain injuries, one of the things that I have, so I'm grateful if she was here. Also, just a place so that we go. The things that need to be reinstated are the food distribution, because we do have the elderly, we do have disabled, we have people like me who have panic attacks when I go to the store. So coming to a place that's comfortable, that people know my face, they know my name, and they welcome me with open arms would be something very, very useful. As for renting, I also have the ideas of renting the place. This place right here could be rented for a prom. It could be rented for a dinner. It could be rented for a Halloween ball, because we know how popular those are from Denver. Well, why not bring them to Colorado Springs in this community center? And the more people that actually have the finances to be able to donate and provide would be here and would know. Yes, we do need the state's help to let the city know about this community center. I didn't know about this community center. I was told about this community center by the homeless, because I was homeless once. They told me about this place, they told me about Westside Cares. They said, these are the places to go if you want to get back on your feet, which I have. Thank you very much. Still a struggle, and that's why we're here fighting for this place, because we, I don't know what just happened, but I'm really loud, so it's okay.
What was your name again?
My name's Sayoma, S-A-O-M-A, just one name.
S-A-O-M.
M-A. And I have been using this facility for my family, for myself, for my neighbors, and I am one of the people that tell other people outside of this community of this facility. And again, just to reiterate, it is all Karen. She is the reason that this place is successful, and she needs to be reinstated immediately. Thank you.
My name is Donna, and I've lived 42 years in the neighborhood here, and I've watched the time here. I wanted to mention a fellow named Vernon that used to come to this community center for many years, and he was a diabetic, and he would have not lived very long if it had not been for Brian. Brian kept an eye on him, and Vernon would call him every day. And he would come down, and a couple times, one time, Brian went to his house to check on him. Vernon was a reporter to hardly get in the door, and he had fallen over in a diabetic coma. And of course, the ambulance came, and they told him if he had been there 10 minutes later, Vernon would have died. But Vernon was a regular here to get the food, to come to eat, and this was family to him. He did not have a mother, father, of youth. And he also was a friend of mine. He would sit with my husband when I worked 10 years at a nursing home, because my husband was lived by himself all those years. And so, anyway, Vernon was this was family to him. Of course, I only been coming eating food because I really didn't think I needed it. I wanted it for everybody else, and I could get SNAP, but I don't know if SNAP is going out the window at the end of the month, maybe. But anyway, our group came up with the idea of one of them would be like Ivy Wall, that there would be a board of directors that would kind of oversee the place. And some of the ideas we thought of, and I thought of, is we need a police substation down here to take a little bit of this space. You know, one car, something on the computer, and then we would have a room off of the police station, off that room, and we could call it a community room, which we all could be in, maybe not this many people. And then we thought, well, we could come up, we'd start a thrift store, maybe we'd get a cafe. Then we would try to get involved with my dear lady, Meadows Park, and work with the dementia control. And we would volunteer to help her, and we would do videos and stuff with her. And also, this gym could be rented out for all your activities, besides all the dances and stuff, and that would bring money in. And the Redemption Church could continue to help, and then with the other nonprofits that could come in and use the space. So bit by bit, we could fill up the space and use it with everybody. You know, we all have a family, a huge family, and it's just so wonderful that you've all come tonight. And I had written the story about Vernon in a letter to Mayor Henjum, and I think you probably read it. And so I just wanted to tell his story, and that we all, Brian says, I still think of Vernon every day. And even when Vernon was in the nursing home, it's a lovely nursing home up in the park, he would call Brian every day to tell him how he was doing. Vernon, and he would say, you gotta go down and eat in the dining room.
Hi everybody, I'm Grandmaster Dan of Young and Penn Martial Arts Community Center for about 26 years. We'll get to that in a couple of moments. Our table is one of the coolest tables we have out there. I want everybody to know that we have some people that are very vocal, some people that are very quiet, but everybody at that table is extremely passionate about the things that we wrote down, and I have just a couple of items to share with you. Just like everybody else is talking about, there's a huge need for the food basket program. I came down here right before the community center was closed, and about 30 people were in there getting their food baskets, and for the 20, 30 minutes I was here, probably more than that. I've also heard a lot about the senior meals and how important that is to the community, and our group would like to be able to make sure that the senior meals continue to go on. The other things that we talked about dovetail very, very closely with a lot of the other things talked about. Business plans to increase rentals, sponsorships, grants, fundraisers, all these types of things. We know that there is a whole game for trying to get a business plan together and groups, and people have been mentioned about how they can step in and do those things. We'd also like to bring back a lot of the programs we used to have in the park area. We used to have a lot of block parties here at the community center. We'd like to bring those back. It was a lot of fun. I was able to come down to a lot of those, especially when we lived a little closer to the area. The last thing that I wanted to just kind of mention that the Meadows Park community would like to activate the park and do sports, mental health programs. Make sure that we have things for the kids to study, tutoring, job skills. I'm going to plug my martial art program. Like I said, I've been here for 26 years. We do it on a donation basis only. Sometimes we operate with a loss. One of the most prestigious awards they got was a thank you from the Meadows Park Community Center. That's sitting on the shelf. It's pretty cool. One thing is also that my group came up with is we've got to do this fast so the building is not vacant and vandalized.
Yeah.
We had 4 people in here one night that are all members of the United States Martial Art Hall of Fame. One of those is a very good friend of mine, and when I was renegotiating a contract with the community center, he looked at it and said, do what you can to keep the center. Do it fast, and that's why I'm here. Thank you very much.
Walking in the food to get to one of the harvester.
So we're actually here from Manna Church, which meets at Harrison High School. We try to find different ways we can serve the community, so that's why we're here tonight, just to hear you guys, and we're really happy to be here. Our table was Elizabeth, Marilyn 10, Paige and myself, and also Trish. Most of these ideas came from her. She's part of this community, and she's very passionate about what she wanted to share. So sentiments the same with everything. I think it kind of came down to the key things being primarily safety. We talked about that already tonight, and then also kids programs. Lots of kids programs, the mental health programs for kids, outdoor programs for using gym, biking, different things like that. Just outlets overall for kids. We kind of primarily were the majority, basically kind of what we were talking about was school-age kids all the way up into the teenage years, and just the major concerns of, somebody said it earlier really greatly, is this is, having this open is a matter of public safety, and how it serves the community in that way, and I think that was it was said really, really well with that, and that was really kind of the main things that we had talked about. Other things as far as opportunities go, I don't want to be the voice of rentals was one of the biggest things, revenue generators, and things like that. As far as I know, other nonprofits or other companies that are out there that want to take this community center and use it as an opportunity, yes, to gain a little bit of revenue and different things like that, but also to offer these programs for the community itself. I wrote down here a couple of things that are personal to me that I heard mentioned. My mom has been mentioned. Community programs like that service the community of the elderly or even just people that have dementia or Alzheimer's is huge. I had to go and find out about Silver Key before. My mom goes there, just the one that's right off of Murray, I believe, but just kind of down Academy over there. And so just that to me, I can see that being one of the great programs that help serve this community as well. But yeah, that was kind of our main points. But really, it came down to really the overarching thing was safety, and I think you said it great. Do it quickly before other good things happen that we don't want to happen here in this community. So we look forward, I know as a church, my brother in Christ over there going really hard with trying to make sure that this community stays open. That's our passion as well. And so we just want to continue to serve this community from us. And yeah, and Tricia, hopefully I said everything. I don't know where you're saying,
Names that have not yet been represented. Here we go.
My table was over here, I'm sorry, but, all of my settings, but I'd like to just have the last bit. I'd like to talk about the Meadows Food program that I've been enjoying for almost 10 years now here, that has been feeding my family. Not only is this important to help fill the gap that arises in between the cost of food and the amount that SNAP gives people, because there's a huge gap in the amount, but it also prevents food waste, which is really important. Like all this food that has been coming here every single week for years is going to go in the trash. I could have fed my family and all these other families in a time of great need when our cost is so high. And the fact that this program is now gone is a travesty. And we need to have some place to have that continue to happen. And right here is a great place because this is where all the poor people are. And I would love if Karen could still be able to be the coordinator of that because she has single-handedly been searching out new places to bring their food here to help the poor people in this community for years, and that's amazing. And she needs to continue to be allowed to do this very important work. And secondly, I would like to say that there's other opportunities for raising revenue here to help keep this place open that have not been looked at before. We could hold low-cost weddings here. We could hold low-cost receptions and quinceañeras and baby showers and things like that for people right here in the community, for them to be able to not go very far and have a place where they can go and rent it out for a reasonable cost but still bring in more money. And also I would like to discuss the fact that I personally know several people that are in the business of voluntarily raising tons of money for various causes every year, and I'm in the process of talking with them as well to see if we could start getting some fundraisers going to try to keep this place open. So I just want to point out that there are avenues that we can bring in to help our community and help keep this place open. Thank you.
We are going to now hear responses from our leaders.
Wow, 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 wow. You all had so much to say, so I'm going to try to be quick. But I need to start by saying that I heard you loud and clear that you should have been included before tonight. I heard that. I heard that you were shocked, hurt, angry, and a lot of other unhappy feelings. And then I heard you really own that this is your neighborhood. I heard you say that loud and clear. Whether you lived here 66 years, or maybe more, I think that's the oldest, or just moved here. There are people here tonight who had not used the community center but are here tonight because of this meeting, and they just moved here. But I heard you own that this is your neighborhood. And I heard that you want any transportation, that this is a neighborhood that's been cut off because, or it's cut off because of streets and roads and danger. I heard that, I heard passion. I heard a lot of passion. And I hear that you are loving neighbors and that you simply want a place and a structure to love each other and be good neighbors to each other with support of other folks who can help you with dementia or karate or whatever it is. You want to be neighbors in this neighborhood. You have a lot of ideas. I'm not going to repeat all the ideas. I have to say this, I heard good things happened in this space. And you want good things to continue to happen in this space. And I think we want that too. And I think I'm going to end, I'm sure I'm going to forget something, but Kimberly has something to say, and one here from the mayor. I love this, that it was said a few times, public safety is a community center. It absolutely is true. And as a city, we have to
community is when we are in good relationship with one another and taking care of one another. And that happens in community centers. So if we're going to make something great happen in this space, I know it, I feel it, I believe it, I will do what I can. I'm not the district representative for this district, but I will do what I can to continue to support this community center.
Before I make my remarks, I actually do want to really point out and thank Councilmember Leinweber for being here. A lot of times, he is one of our 3 at-large council members, and that means he can focus on many issues in the city. And tonight, he is here to support this community. And I want to thank you for that, and I actually want to give you a minute or 2 on the mic if you wanted to say any remarks, because I know that a lot of this is passionate to you as well.
I can't make this very quick. It really boils down to this. When I was a kid, my mom said, "There's the door, don't come back till 5 o'clock." And we roamed. We went out, the community, we played, we did kickball, we played, built forts, we did crazy stuff back then. Today is not. Our kids need a different type of environment. And we do have to create safe spaces. And this is a dynamic that's new to a city. We kind of know it's there, but we've got to figure out better ways to kind of create those safe places. Government doesn't always do things well. So you have to give us a little bit of patience, okay? But I can tell you this, communities that care, you can knock out a park. So when we talk about responsible authority, it's not the mayor. It's you. It's you, the neighbors. And to take the phrase, hey neighbor, we need to engage with one another, right? So don't go dumping it on us, all right? You take control. It's your community center, all right? You make it what you want it. That's what needs to happen.
Thank you, Councilmember Leinweber. I have officially passed 40, and when I reflect on life, life's tough, right? There's a lot of valleys, a lot of hard times, and I know that everyone in this room has experienced that, is experiencing that right now. But what I have learned is that tough times don't last, tough people do. And in this room is a bunch of tough people, right? And I have to go back to, I'm going to call him Pastor Zach. I don't know if you're a pastor, but you were preaching today, brother. You said if communities don't change, our cities don't change, right? And we see that we are a community on the south side that desperately needs change so that our overall city can change. Now, moving forward, and I'm not going to steal Miriam's thunder because he's going to share some solutions. There will be some things that will happen. Nancy and I will be part of that as well. And I will absolutely be looking for more continued feedback. And not just that, what I would love to see is I would love to see everybody keep this energy up. Don't let tonight be the last meeting. This should be the first of many so that you can galvanize, mobilize, and hold your city officials accountable for the outcomes that you want. We must have a partnership. It never works without partnership. So if you want the systems to change that we're in, you must get involved in the system. Please don't give up. Please keep engaged in every single little way. And the last thing I'm going to say is, city government, wow, there's so many levels to this, it is really wild. If I could charge just a few of you, the Mayor's Fellowship application is open right now. It closes on Halloween. This fellowship is a free leadership and education opportunity to understand how our city works. Again, you cannot change a system until you are in a system. You must know the rules of the game to change the rules of the game. So I am pleading and begging with you, get involved right now. It is never too late. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gold, and Councilman Leinweber. Most importantly, thank you all for the gift of your time, your perspective, your story, your passion. I welcome all of it. It's 8:36. Try not to be long, because I want Joe. Hey, Joe, where are you?
Right here.
You're going to come after me and talk through some of the next steps. I talk about a vision of a city with great neighbors and neighborhoods. And listening to you all and the impact my decision has had on me hurts. It's also good for me to hear your pain. It's also good for me to hear your stories. And several times I've heard the phrase, this place safe. That's important. That's first. Two, I'm struck by the leadership that is in this room. There's a lot of great leaders. I'm encouraged for our community. If there is one thing I could change, probably the process of how we communicate to you. That is something I regret. I think we could have done better. I own that. I own that how we communicated, how we engaged. Could have been better. We were desperate for solutions. We were desperate to keep the city moving. And in light of the economic challenges, that not just the city, I want to be clear, all our families are facing. Because the city's revenue is a direct reflection of the economy. So when people are not spending money, the economy is not doing well, we don't have the money. So we feel what you guys are feeling. So we were desperate to act quick, and we should have done that better. I hear your concerns around crime in the neighborhood. That caught my attention. Even outside of this space, I also understand how this space really helps with crime. I also hear your concerns around crime with this place being vacant. Vandalism, homelessness. I heard about even the park, how can we activate that? It's one of the things we discussed when we were making the decision that we were prioritizing. Well, leaving this meeting, you better believe that's even going to be a bigger priority because nothing in me wants to harm this prized neighborhood. Infrastructure too. I was not aware of the crosswalk issues. The Candace and I think you're right, that one of the exit of the neighborhood was closed. I hope my team is taking notes of that. I want to follow up on some of those things. That is not okay. Especially if you all don't feel safe. We need to invest in this neighborhood. I heard a lot about programs that were here. The programs I need to remember. The programs that cross all generations. Child care, senior care, and everything in between. What I really love hearing too was even just, this just came out organically several times with Nation. Realizing the need around that. So what I'm hearing is that we need program and services in this place. As I made my rounds, and I didn't get to the group on site, I think I got most of the group here. I can't remember which group or which resident said this. It said this center was a center of hope. That struck a chord with me. It's a center of hope, and I wanted to remain that way. So we will take your feedback as we've collected it, and that will translate into meaningful action. The good news is that we have a lot of examples of public-private partnerships. I want to be honest. In terms of programming, and this is not a knock to, I hope my parks department don't hear this. We're just not good at it. That's not what government, local government, that's not what we do. We've inherited many of these because our community needs it. If you look at the city charter, our local constitution, what the charter asks us to be is to ensure we have enough state-class community safe, have enough police officers and firefighters. And I know that is not the only way to keep our community safe. And that is why I'm so grateful for the impact of mental influence and the work that they do. And they play a real key, they help the solution. When you look at my job description, safety is to fix our roads and bridges. It's our parks and fiscal responsibility according to city law and city code. Now I'm in the business of everything because all the other needs affect those top three. So I'm just, every need comes to me, comes to my team, comes to council. But I gotta be honest, we're not good at running programs and nonprofits are way better at doing because we have to worry about risk, we have to worry about lawsuits, we worry about some of the federal government. And so when we begin to step into things that are outside our scope, and I've heard from some of you that this was successful, then over time, it just kind of wasn't, because that is not our core responsibility. We're in it. And so I'd like to get to a place where we can partner with people that do this way better than I do. A good example is the senior center. Why it's near that? It used to be run by the city. Very similar, you know, when the city started transitioning out there, we had to have listening sessions, and people were not happy. And we finally were able to partner with an organization. This is what they do, and they do it really well. That where we show up and say, you know what, we can provide this space at the low cost, whatever it needs to, so that it's a because it's a community benefit. That is the opportunity I see with this. We have lots of examples. The Senior Center, Westside, Pikes Peak, United Way with D2, what is known as the Family Success Center that used to be Pikes Peak Elementary School. It's where we're at our best, where we show up with you all to solve the problems that our community so desperately need. And you have my commitment of ensuring that this place remains the center of hope. So that solutions team, the team of rivals, will include both council members. It will include community leaders, it will include leaders. We'll be asking some of you to be a part of it. And that solution, because what that is really important because that information, when people start to reach out to us, and they are, we've had no commitments, or we've had anything from the YMCA, from the libraries, to the United Way, and some of the people are saying, can we talk? But it's really important for us to make sure that we merge the desires with the right person, entity, organization, nonprofit. It could be a faith-based institution that says, let us help. The most intriguing thing I heard today, when we summed up into one word, care. And the desire for you guys to see those in this space. Thanks again for your feedback. You need to know that I asked for this meeting, not your council members. I asked for this meeting. It's really important for me to be here, to hear from you, to hear your frustration, because that's leadership. I wasn't involved in the details of how the information got disseminated to you, but it's really important for me to hear directly from you and to feel your passion, because that allows me to take that passion into the next chapter of the solution. Joe, why don't you come?
Thank you.
We're going to close you out. I know it's late. You have been sitting here for a long time, so thank you for that. I have all of your feedback here, and I'm holding on to it like I'm a child because it's important to us. So we're going to be making sure that we're transcribing this, we're jotting down every single note that was here, and we're going to take away key themes from tonight. And we're going to provide a report back out to you who signed up for email updates. We'll also post it on the city's website so that you have that as accountability. that we are really documenting your concerns. This isn't going into government black box that never see again. This feedback will also be provided directly to the solutions team, so your voice will be represented in that process. The second piece is, if you didn't feel like you had a chance to say something that you really want to say, we have a survey that we're leaving open for another week. That survey is on a QR code on the bottom of the agendas. It's also on the city's website. If you have anything else that you'd like to share, that feedback will also be compiled into that report. So we're taking the feedback from the sticky notes that you were putting on the sheets back there, from the papers here, and the survey. We're going to compile all of that into one big report. So I want to end with introducing one more person, and then we'll really close it out. I just wanted to make sure you have a face and a name to Josh Ganey, who oversees Hillside Community Center. And then Josh, if you just want to end the night for us.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Hey, everybody. I know I haven't been able to meet a lot of you along the way here at Hillside Community Center. First and foremost, I wish this place was closing. Much like Nancy, I wish there was a community center in every neighborhood around here, a senior center, because I know the value of a community center. Unfortunately, that's not our reality. And while I'm not here to replace anything you have had here, I need you to know that you are welcome at Hillside. We have drop-in programs, we have senior meals, we do food distribution twice a month. I have schedules on the tables in the back if you'd like to see one. We've had the honor of having Miss Kimmy volunteer for us for the last week. She's actually our back-to-back volunteer of the year over at Hillside. We're looking to bring back some band so that the classes can continue over there. I'd just like to be able to be a resource to all of you to ensure you're still getting needs met in any way that I can help make that happen. I also understand Hillside's only 2 miles away, but many of you are about to go 50 miles away because of the way our roads are and the freeway and all that good stuff. But still very key for our seniors, does have transportation available. I'm happy to help you out with that, work that out so you can get those reservations and get over. Metro Mobility does transportation as well. So, Ms. Kimmy, do you want to say something?
Silver Key said they do transportation for the meals. But are they also going to do the transportation to bring the seniors that do need some type of communication? Are they going to bring them and let them stay for our senior program?
Yeah, as far as I know, they can do any of that transportation. And I would work with my staff, and if Silver Key can get you over for meals and you want to stay for some of our programming, between myself, Ms. Camry, and our other staff, we will give folks back. So we'll work that out, we'll make that happen.
Now, she just told me Silver Key says they need 2 weeks.